All right, hello everybody. It's been a very long time. I haven't made any content in a couple months. That's because I've just been really busy. I've been trying to do too much in too little time. But I'm back, so I'm going to be probably going to try to be doing these kinds of videos every once in a while, or maybe more often, because they don't take as much scripting or kind of like writing, I kind of like going off the cuff anyways. I'm more of an improv person than a script guy, because when I go on script I sound very stiff. So what we're doing today is a tier maker here, tier list of, I guess, these top manga here, for shonen anime and manga. I'm gonna mostly be rating these as manga because I don't watch a lot of the anime for these series. But if there's only an anime, or if I've only watched the anime, then I'll be rating those accordingly. And I've also created one tier called Never Read, or Never Watched. I guess I should probably fix that. Because honestly, there are a lot of series that I've never read or watched, and you will see that very clearly when we get started. So let's get started. So first up is Seven Deadly Sins. If we're gonna be completely honest, I'm not like the biggest fan of Seven Deadly Sins. I think it's okay. I don't really like MacLeod very much, who's the main character, because it really falls into like the typical like pervy trope, which I'm never really a big fan of. However, I do think that the fighting's pretty cool. I do think some of the character designs are actually pretty neat, so I'm gonna stick it here at C for now, and I'll see if I move it or not depending on other stuff. Alright, so Ass Class, or Assassination Classroom. I think the series is pretty cool. Like, I myself am not a big fan of really huge casts, like My Hero Academia or like Assassination Classroom, where they introduce like 30 characters, and yeah, you're not necessarily supposed to know all of them immediately, but I have a hard time remembering most of the characters, other than the main guy with the blue hair, which I don't even remember his name, and then the red-haired dude, and obviously the alien guy. But it's fun. It's funny in points. I haven't finished it yet, so I will put that as a caveat. But as of volume 8, which is where I'm at, it's okay. But I do think it's better than Seven Deadly Sins, so I'll put it at B. Okay, this is one of my big hot takes, or maybe it's not really a hot take, but I really do not like Attack on Titan. I tried reading it, I tried watching it. I think the art for the manga is pretty bad, especially in the beginning. I have a really hard time trying to look at it, and and I'm also not a big fan of like characters, or like just a lot of people that to be introduced and then cold like almost immediately, because it's just like, why? I don't know, it felt very like quick to just kill people off, and like for shock value, which I'm also not a big fan of. I do know there's a big fan base for this, obviously, like it's like probably one of the most popular anime to ever be released. However, you know, you do you. It's just not my thing, so I'm gonna put this actually in D. All You Need Is Kill, a really great one-off by one of my favorite artists, Takashi Obata, and a couple other writers. I actually really like this, like, one shot. I guess it's 2 volumes in Japan, but it's only one here. But I really liked it. I thought the story was cool, and obviously I love the character designs. The visuals were gorgeous. So I'm actually gonna stick this up in A for now. Bakuman, there's no need to talk about this, but Bakuman is my favorite series, / it kind of flip-flops between another one that's on this list, but I'll get to that when we get to that. But I think Bakuman for me is a perfect series. However, I know there's obviously a lot to critique about it, like the female characters not really written really well. Some of the characters are very misogynistic, because that's like kind of like the sign of the times. Also, like how in the manga industry it wasn't like how, I don't know how to explain it really, but like Tsugumi Oba writes how like the manga industry was for shonen at the time, where like female artists were few and far between, and like the ones who were really popular obviously were like huge, but it was like it's clearly and still for the most part a male dominated industry, but it's definitely been growing, I would say, significantly, and I'm actually really happy about that, because I kind of like the mix of like a female and the male perspective on shonen itself, and also in, you know, in other genres. But I think the visuals are fantastic. I think the writing's really good. I do think the emotional payoff at the end is very good. It's just like a great series, honestly. So next is Baki. I have watched a couple episodes. I think Baki is fucking hideous. Um, so yeah, there's not much to say about that. I'm not gonna talk about Baki. Black Clover. Okay, I have watched a lot of Black Clover, and or not watched, excuse me, read a lot of Black Clover. I'm actually caught up. I kind of like it. I actually do. I do like it quite a bit. I mean, I wouldn't be collecting up to the 27th volume if I didn't think it was like at least entertaining or good. I do think Asta is okay main character. I actually like the supporting cast a lot more. I think Yuno is a cool character. I think the leader of the Black Bulls is really cool. Most of the Black Bull characters are really cool except for the mirror guy, Gouch, I think is his name. Yeah, he's a piece of crap. Like I said, there are a couple tropes that I don't really care for that are put into the series, and that's Gouch is one of them, which is like the, oh, I love my sister so much, but like to like the weird part, you know, you can love your sibling, but you shouldn't be getting a bloody nose thinking about your younger sibling who's of the opposite sex. Just I don't know, it's just a thing, you know. I hope you don't do that, my lord. But for the most part, I think the action's pretty cool. The visuals are pretty interesting. I think the world building is actually pretty solid. And I like the idea that everything is kind of like based on card suits. So it's like the spade, the diamond, the clover, and the heart kingdoms. And I don't know, it's just a fun time. I actually really do like it. I will probably put it in B. I'm going to put it above Assassination Classroom. I actually haven't watched or read Berserk. I know everybody's gonna be like, hey, you should watch it, it's one of the greatest like series of all time, and maybe I will at some point, but it is important to note that I do collect all of my series physically. I actually don't own any digital manga, and what prevented me before, one, I as a kid I thought it was too gory, which for me now it's like whatever. However, the volumes are much pricier, and of course the series is never going to end anymore. So I feel like I can collect at any time, and it wouldn't be a problem. But yeah, for now I'm gonna have to leave it here. All right, Blue Exorcist. I love this series, and I can't believe no one else talks about it because like the visuals are gorgeous. The story is actually pretty cool. Very entertaining. Like the supporting cast is amazing. Like, oh gosh, such a good series. I don't know. It's odd that nobody talks about it. I never see it on any Twitter. I never see it on like Instagram or anything like where I post and where I like talk about manga and anime. I don't know. It's just like I know the anime wasn't great because they went off of the manga because it actually passed the manga. However, it's like just read it. It's like so entertaining. It's so interesting. Like the world is really rich with like the story and the culture and like everything, and you kind of just get an idea of like what it'd be like if there were demons in Japan, and I think it's one of the better ones to do it. So I'm gonna actually stick it in A, in front of All You Need Is Kill. Okay, Bleach. Bleach is not bad, but I also don't think it's great. Like I think Bleach is entertaining. I think it's fun. I think the art is good. I think the battles are pretty interesting. However, I do think it takes a pretty big dip in quality after the Eisen arc. I know that's a very common cliche to say or to talk about, but I agree. I don't think... I think that Bleach could have ended at the end of the Eisen arc. And that's all I will say about that. But for what it is, I do think it's very entertaining, and there's a reason why it's considered one of the big three. So I will stick it in B for Bleach. Haha. Next, Boruto. Boruto is very average. I don't think it's bad. I also don't think it's that good. I think it's okay. I think it gets the job done. I don't think it needed to exist, but I'm happy it's here. It's cool to see one of my favorite series be continued. Maybe not in like the best way, but like I said, it's fun. You'll get a laugh or a chuckle here and there. I still go like ooh ah like whenever like something cool happens. I do think that the implementation of like tech and like future stuff is kind of weird. Like I know Naruto already had that kind of stuff with some characters. However, like it just feels too out there for me. Like it feels like it's just a complete change in like setting and stuff, and it just doesn't make sense in my head. But it's okay. Like I would put it. I'm gonna probably put it at C in front of Seven Deadly Sins, like for the most part. Okay, Burn the Witch. I actually haven't read it. I only watched the first episode. I thought it was okay, but I don't think I have enough an opinion on it to be able to rate it, so I'm gonna put it here. Cowboy Bebop. Very fun, very entertaining. I will agree, or whatever you want to say, but it is a very episodic series for the most part. It doesn't really have an overarching story until much later in the series. However, I don't think that's a bad thing. It's really fun. The music's great. Like, the character designs are actually great. And I think the characterizations of male and female characters are not as bad as people make them out to be. I do obviously think that some parts could have been better, but I actually do like it. I think it has a great payoff at the end, and I think the ending is actually very good. So I'm going to stick this here. A. Code Geass. I have not finished it, so I will not have an opinion on it. Chainsaw Man. I am currently 3 volumes in. Yeah, I know I'm behind. However, it's like impossible to find the volumes, so bear with me on that. I actually am not the biggest fan. I think it's okay. I don't think it's like the most mind-blowing or genre-defining series. I think there are parts of it that are cool, and there are parts of it that I don't care for. I don't like the main character very much. Maybe that'll change if I read more. I think the designs are pretty cool. I think the idea of like what they do is also pretty cool. But like I said, I wanted more, or I want more. I am still, my curiosity is still piqued, so I'm still collecting it. But yeah, I'm gonna currently rate this as a C. Put it above Boruto. Dragon Ball. Okay. So I have a friend who loves Dragon Ball. It's like his favorite series. It's not even close. And he didn't really convince me, but I managed to find all of the original Dragon Ball at a store near me. And when I started reading it, I was like, this is amazing. Actually, I love this series a lot. I think because I'm like one of those like kind of like. I like the comedy up to a certain point. You know, obviously there's still the pervy characters, but I think Goku is a very fun and charming character. I think the art in the original series is great. I'm reading through Z right now, and I also find it very entertaining. I don't think it's as bad as everyone makes it out to be. Like, I don't know, a lot of people are like, oh, it's aged so poorly, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I guess, but like, I think there's still like some very entertaining parts about it. I think the art's still very good. Yeah, the story's not like the best in the world or whatever, but like, I'm not sure what you would have been expecting in the 1980s. I think this was actually like one of those series that really pushed a lot of things and pushed a lot of boundaries at the time. So I don't know. I very much like it. Do I think it's like, you know, the best series in the world? No, but I do think it's very good. So I'm gonna put it at the top of B. I've not watched or read Devil is a Part-Timer. I've not watched or read Darling of the Franxx. I have not read this one. I have not read or watched Devilman, but I will probably someday. Death Note. Okay. Death Note was one of the first series that I read back in middle school / high school. Yeah, it's very edgy. And it's also by my favorite manga duo, Takashi Obata and Sugumi Oba. I do think it still holds up pretty well, which is why they keep publishing it over and over and over again. I don't know. I really like it. I think Light is a very interesting and complex character. I think the supporting cast that's trying to figure out the mystery of Kira is also really good. I like the designs of the death gods of their Shikigami. I just like, I don't know. It's very interesting. The ending is really cool. I think the ending is not confusing at all. I think it's very like what you'd expect, I guess, or not even what you'd expect, really. I don't know. Maybe as a kid, I was like, "Wow, that's like crazy. I never saw that coming." But as an adult, of course, I'm kind of like, "Oh, okay, that that makes sense." But I still think it works for the series. So I'm gonna move this to A. Put it above these two. Okay. Dr. Stone, I have not read, and I don't think I ever will. I'm sorry, everybody. I know Dr. Stone is supposed to be a really great series, but I cannot get over Boichi's art. I don't like it, like, at all. So please don't hate me. But I totally get it if you like it. I know it's supposed to be really cool and very interesting, but it's not for me. The art's not for me. Okay, Evangelion. I actually just watched all of Evangelion last year, I think, and part of this year, I think. Yes, I'm clearly very well versed in these things. However, I think Evangelion deserves all the praise it gets. I was completely blown away by the visuals, by the story, by the characters, the sense of dread, the atmosphere. I think everything was just like great. Like, it was so good. I totally understand like Shinji as a character. Like, you sympathize with him because like he literally has nobody. Everyone picks on him. Like, even like the adults, like his dad fucking hates him. Misato is baiting him basically the entire time. Asuka is a jerk, and Rei is Rei. So, yeah, honestly, if you haven't watched it, you really gotta, like, it's not a long series. It's only 24? I think it's 24 volumes, or maybe it's 26. I don't remember, but, or volumes, wow. 24 or 26 episodes, but definitely check it out. I think it's really good. I'm going to put it at the top of A, because I think it's just that good. I haven't seen Fate, so I'm not going to put it. Fire Force. Okay, Fire Force is alright. I think it's good, but not as good as Soul Eater. And I know that's maybe not the best comparison to make, but it is by the same artist, so you kind of, it's just kind of what I would do. I expected better, because like I feel like Soul Eater was built so well and in such an interesting way. The art is fantastic for Soul Eater, and Fire Force is also very, very like well drawn. It has good visuals. However, I don't like the leaning on the stereotypes once again. Like with the girl who always falls into like sexual positions and stuff like that. It's like, I'm just tired of it. I don't know. I expect better nowadays. Not to say that it was justified in the 80s or 90s, but it was a different climate back then. And people kind of didn't think about that kind of stuff, because before it was very much like, oh, it's all about fan service. However, like, I don't know. I feel like we should be beyond that now. Like, we should have learned that that's not a thing we should put in our stuff anymore. Like, any kind of media, because it's just not right. I don't know. But I am reading it still, so I mean, it's still okay. It's still good. Like, I'm still enjoying it. But I wouldn't say it's like a masterpiece or anything. So I'm gonna put this at C. Alright, Fullmetal Alchemists. It's good. It's an S. I think Fullmetal Alchemist is one of the greatest shonen series of all time, and probably one of the greatest manga series / anime series of all time. I would say it's inarguably one of the most well-rounded series of all time. I think it has the perfect blend of great art, great characters, great story, great world building. It's just like everything is so good about it. It's hard to find nitpicks, because I think like the male and female characters are both written very well. I think that like the progression of the story is not slow, but it also has an air of mystery to everything. And I think that the conclusion is very good. I think like there are definitely wins and losses. I think the deaths are very impactful, which I would not say for some of the series that are below it. Yeah, it's hard to put into words. I'll probably go into more detail later, but for now it's gonna go there. All right, Fire Punch. I'm gonna speed up because I have a lot of series to go through. Fire Punch, it's okay. I don't think it's bad, but I don't care for it, so I'm gonna just stick it over here between here. Fairy Tail is okay. It's like it's fun, but it's nothing mind-blowing or anything, but I'm not sure if you expect that. Put that here, here. Food Wars, I think it's fun. The ending's terrible, but you take it as you will. But I think the food is really nice, and the main characters is fun. Gintama, one of my favorite comedy series of all time, but yeah, it's like very good. I wish it got printed more. Gurren Lagann, I don't care for it. I really don't see the hype behind it, not gonna lie, other than like, oh, it's flashy and it's got titties and stuff, and I'm like, who cares? I don't know. I really don't like Simone as a character, so yeah, take that as you will. All right, if you watched my last video, I think, yeah, my last video, then you know how much I love Haikyuu. I don't even need to talk about it. It's my favorite sports manga of all time, and in my tops for best manga of all, or favorite manga of all time. I won't say best. Go read it if you haven't. It's great. It's wonderful. Hikaru no Go, also very good. I don't talk about the series as often, but I do like it a lot. And I think the ending was great, so I'll put that here. Come on, there we go. Hajime no Ippo I haven't seen, but I know everyone keeps telling me to watch it, so I'll go someday. Hunter x Hunter I do think is fun. I don't care for Gon very much. I kind of like the supporting cast a lot more, which is, depending on who you ask, a good or a bad thing. I think it's fine. I'm not confident that it will get better, but I'll put it here, B. I don't know what this is, so I'm going to move it. Jujutsu Kaisen I think is good. I do think there are parts that could have been better. I think the mix of comedy and action sometimes doesn't hit very well. I think it cuts too often to comedy and it doesn't need to. However, I do think the visuals are very interesting because it's a very scratchy style, unlike a lot of series that are out right now where they're very clean. And I think that gives it a very unique and standout-ish look. So I'm going to put that here. Here. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, if this is the one, this is part 4. JoJo part 4 is my favorite, but I haven't finished it yet, so I can't for sure say, like, oh, this is, like, the best series ever, but for now, I put it above Hunter x Hunter. Kill la Kill is okay. I thought it was entertaining, but has the same issues that Gurren Lagann has, but I think it's, at least the main character is likable, so I'll put it here. Demon Slayer, I actually don't like very much. I think it could have done a lot better than what it was, and that's unfortunate because I really liked how it started, but not really how it ended. So I'll put that here. See, it's not as bad as these series. Okay. I don't know what this is. Megalobox is cool. I haven't finished it, but I am very entertained by it, so I'll stick it in B. I don't like My Hero Academia. I don't really want to talk about it, so D. I haven't seen this. Magi, I haven't read that. Mob Psycho. The manga is okay, but the anime is great, so that kind of puts it in the middle. It sucks, because I think the anime is fantastic, but I can't do the art, man. I really can't. Naruto is a very good series up until a certain point. I won't talk about what that point is because I feel like most people will know what I'm talking about. However, I do think it's very influential and extremely impactful on me, so it's kind of hard to put it any lower than like a B or a low A. So I'll stick it there. I haven't read this. One Piece I think is fantastic. There's a reason why... I have to move it all the way up here. Top. One Punch Man, I actually didn't like it for a long time. I thought it was okay, but... I actually am starting to like it more. I don't know why, but I'll stick it here. Promised Neverland, I think is great. I think the ending is not as bad as everyone makes it out to be, so I'll put it here. I haven't read Kenshin, I haven't read ReZero. Samurai 8 is very mediocre. It definitely could have been better, and it's probably the only series that I own that I'm going to put in D. Sword Art Online, haven't watched it. Samurai Champloo is fun, so I'll stick it in B. Soul Eater is here, so I'm going to stick that in high B. Put it behind Naruto. Yeah, okay. Shield Hero and Reddit. Shaman King, peak... well, not peak fiction, because I don't say that. Or at least I don't say it seriously, so... But I will put it right here, I think. Okay, nope. There we go. Seraph of the End, I remember being pretty cool. I'm not, like, super into it, so I'll put it here. Spy Family is one of my favorite current series, and it's not hard to see why, so I'll put that probably here. Controversial. Tokyo Ghoul, I don't like it. I think it's gory for gory's sake, and I never like that kind of stuff. I haven't read Vinland Saga, but I know I will someday, so I'll just put it here. Yu-Gi-Oh! I think is underrated, not gonna lie. Yeah, I know people would be like, it's not underrated, it's still very popular, but I do think that no one really talks about the manga or the anime. People just talk about the card game, which of course, because that's kind of what it is. However, I think that the manga is very good. Definitely give it a chance if you haven't. And then Yu Yu Hakusho, I think is very good as well. I'm gonna stick it like right here. Okay. All right, so that's it for me. Clearly, I need to consume a lot more media because I have not seen a lot of these series, which is fine. I don't think that's a bad thing. But yeah, so take a look at the list again. I think I think I'm happy with how this came out. Yeah, I have 5 and S. These are I would say the S tier is definitely the series that I suggest to people to read. Bakuman, I would say, is the only one that I don't typically, but that's only because it's like reading a novel whenever you read one of the volumes, so it's going to take a while to read through it just because there's a lot of talking. But the other 4 are definitely series that I suggest to everybody. Shaman King, Haikyuu, Fullmetal Alchemist, One Piece. And then A is like series that I really, really like, but are not up there just yet, because either A, they're not done yet, or B, they're just not as good as the top 5 for me. And then, yeah, and then the other, I don't know, the other tiers tell you exactly what you'd expect. So, if you liked this tier list, or if you didn't, which there's probably going to be people who are going to be like, why wasn't this higher? Feel free to leave it in the comments, honestly. But, you know, be good about it. Don't be a jerk. Like, you're free to express your opinion. I know people will probably say that I should put Demon Slayer and Chainsaw Man higher. That wouldn't surprise me at all. I know those series are very beloved. But I don't know. Chainsaw Man has a chance of moving up, because of course I told you guys I'm only 3 volumes in. But yeah, so these are subject to change for the series that are ongoing. That is, like Jujutsu Kaisen, Black Clover, One Punch Man, Jojo's, and other stuff like that. So who knows? Maybe they'll be lower someday. Maybe I'll come back to this and I'll be like, wow, Daniel, you're kind of stupid. But this is this is where I'm at. So if you like this video, like it, comment on it, subscribe to my channel, show me some love because I'd appreciate it. Anyways, you have yourself a good day. See ya.